Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Schmoedown reaction right here on Dedicated to Art. As usual, I am your host, Kees Cornelissen, joined by the usual crew, Chris Doman and Nico Rigoli, for the first of two matches which will determine a number one contender match, which will then face Dan Merle for the belt. We have William the Beast Bibbiani versus the Professor Lon Harris. And well, this is a rematch of sorts. I mean, they recently faced each other in teams, and well, critically acclaimed pretty much took care of business there. But the question is, how will Lon do without John? How will Bibbs do without Whitney? Can they do it on their own? The question, I really don't know who to go with here, so I wonder, Nico, do you have any one that you want to win in this match, or do you just want a good match?
Okay, so let's address the woodsy owl in the room. I picked the Harris brothers to beat critically acclaimed in their team match. It did not go that way. It
No.
did not go that way. Granted, I also picked David Del Rio to beat Whitney Seibold, and that did come true.
This is true.
So I'm 1 for 1 right now in terms of my predictions for this year regarding critically acclaimed. So for me, following what happened in the team match, I feel like in terms of gameplay and in terms of knowledge of a broader amount of films, this one is Bibbiani's to win. Lon Harris, he's a very intelligent person. He knows a lot of movies. Unfortunately, in terms of the broadness of the amount of movies he's watched, he's been exposed in that regard. So, whereas Bibbiani, he's always watching something different, like every single day of his life. Partly because that's his job, but also just because he loves movies of all different kinds that much. So he's prepared. I'm assuming he wants to get a belt back. And whether or not the singles or the teams belt he thinks is the easier belt to grab is a completely different discussion, because Dan Merle and the Shire Wolves are just on fire as of late. But I think for this first step towards the singles title, Bibbiani has the edge over Lon.
All right. Well, I could see that, but I do think Lon just knows a lot. Chris, you love Lon and you love the Harris brothers.
This is true.
So-
But lest we forget, I also really love Bibbs, and I don't just love the team critically acclaimed. I love the podcast critically acclaimed, and Bibbs constantly talks about movies that he is now rewatching for the Schmoedown, and I'll be honest. Now, I'm only saying this because I'm not hearing that same level of dedication from Lon. Like, sure, maybe I'll stumble across a tweet of something that he's watching for the Schmoedown, but Bibbs is constantly rewatching movies and watching new movies to study for the Schmoedown. So I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm sorry, Lon. I love the professor. I love the character. I just adore him. But yeah, I'm with Nico on this one. I think it's Bibbs is to lose.
All right. Well, I do think that Bibbs, in terms of stats, gameplay, and knowledge, is probably the favorite, but I would never count out Lon Harris, especially considering that he forced Ethan Irwin to have the team record or singles record last year, and Lon could have had it if only he had answered that 5-pointer. That would have made him the singles point record holder with 25 points in a 3-round singles match. So considering that, we know that Lon can score a lot. But it does, in his case, depend a little bit more on the round 2 category, because there are a couple of categories that we've seen him struggle with. Other than that, I think he should be good. But anything can happen, really. 3 rounds, and a lot can happen. So let's just see what happens in this match. We're going to press play in 3, 2, 1, play.
I'm going to bear hug you.
He probably would do that too.
Oh, he would. Bibbs is definitely it.
In his own right, the pit boss Ken, Mr. Afternoon Podcast Knapsack Ken.
Hi, I'm Bibbiani, and I like warm hugs.
Mr. Mark Ellis. It's been a lot of fun traveling with you along the highways and byways of this
Oh,
great
that's
country,
great.
but nothing is like being on the announcer's desk with you, calling big matches here in the movie Trivia Schmoedown. We have a big one here. This one, I actually believe, stretches back before the movie Trivia Schmoedown was even a thing, where I have a good authority. Lon and William the Beast Bibbiani, our competitors today, fought in a video rental store in the aisles.
What?
I didn't realize I was in this match.
Both worked at the same video store at the same time. Who had the better staff picks? We may never know. That could be a subjective question, but these gentlemen here
You're
today,
welcome,
Ken,
Nico.
they're about to get
You're
under the
welcome.
white-hot spotlight of the movie
Wow.
Trivia Schmoedown, and these questions will be a correct answer, and everything else is incorrect. And when you look at the landscape of this match, both gentlemen, no stranger to the movie Trivia Schmoedown or the Singles League, but they've been making their name recently.
I love
More
how
teams,
Alex
William
Damon's
Bibbiani
face is
critically
like the
acclaimed,
Where's
Harris of the Harris
Waldo
brothers, but
as
then
he
Sam will be
right behind
representing
Mark
the
Ellis.
well-tanned South Florida commissioner. He's back
Kind
on
of,
the scene. He's not competing, but he's making matches happen, and it looks like these two gentlemen are going to be competing for a special spot in an upcoming title match.
I'll tell you what, Sam, he has proven to be just a regular Ford C. Frick of a commissioner, just coming in here and really making some decisions that are going to take the league in new directions.
Yeah.
We got Dan Merle as the champion, right? We got to find him an opponent.
$5
find
says
him a
that,
contender, and that's
Ken
going to
mentioned
be a
something about
grueling process
DJing
that
in the
begins here
90s.
today with these type of big matches. We have.
I would not
we got
take that bet
Roca,
because you would probably
battling
win
Mark
it.
the Android and Draco, and then we got today's match.
And I wouldn't take
Professor
the
Lon
match
Harris
because I have
and
no
William
idea what
Beast
you're talking
Bibbiani,
about, and
who,
you're probably
by the
right.
way, just is a former movie Trivia Schmoedown champion of the world. So this is going to be a big match.
Yeah, but he
That's
didn't
right. We had a
defend,
pre-interview
so...
with each competitor. Here's what they had to say.
To be fair, neither has Roca, but he's still considered one of the best.
Well, at least he has gotten a team belt and the singles belt twice.
Hell, Riley didn't even defend.
He did.
Baby. I'm excited
Against
to once again
JTE.
return to the individuals league.
Oh,
Last
yeah, that was
season,
a defense.
I had a
Yeah,
belt.
that was.
I wore it over here because it needed. It didn't really fit. It's not really one size fits all, but that's fine. Well, as you know, students, I have been competing in the team division along with.
You
my
know, some
brother
belts
and my
actually have
esteemed
expansion
colleague,
buckles,
Dr. Professor
so to
Jonathan
help with
Harris.
the
But
more
now, it's a
bigly
clear
waisted
path.
people.
I just got to take on John Lon Harris and kick his butt. And then it's just one more match, and then it's easy street. Who has the belt right now?
Oh, shit.
No.
That was a perfect edit. That was a perfect
Mr.
edit.
Merle, Mr. Roshaw, I look forward to facing any of them and eventually conquering them and proving my greater academic potential. Yeah, I'd like to beat him. That'd be real nice. I've never properly beat
Yeah,
John
I
Rowe.
forgot
But I will.
who
I will
does
beat
the
him,
editing
and I
now
will
on
beat
these things,
Ethan
but
Irwin. Yes,
congratulations,
I will beat them, but first,
because
this other
it's
guy.
awesome.
This is not
You
Really is.
snowboarding. This
killing
is not a
Yes.
swim meet.
Guys,
Yes.
please,
We are not
please
doing
correct
the
us in the
track
comments
and
down
or the
below who it is
field
actually
today.
editing
This is an academic
But
competition.
it's so good.
People call
It's
us
so good.
film snobs, and it's an honor. I have to say, I dislike this term film snob. It's not about being a snob. It is
I'd
about
say, yeah, you're not Brad
appreciating
Jones.
film. It's an honor to have standards. It's an honor to know cinema beyond the mainstream popular motion pictures. There's bright colors and flashing lights on a screen allow me to stare at them. Turn off the emojiest movie 5 and turn on something that is going to enrich your
Yeah,
life.
please,
Some art.
please.
I know so much
I
about
do
this.
wonder
If you
whoever
know
wants to
so
watch
much about
the
movies,
Emoji Movie because
Mr.
it's
Lon
trash.
Harris, why
Oh, well, unless we
beat
all
you?
forget,
To Mr.
there's a
William
sequel that's
Artemis
currently coming out
Bibbiani,
this
All I
weekend.
would have to say is to prepare for the
To
Is it?
Norm of the goddamn
You are a
fucking
spirited
North!
player, but
Ah!
today you shall be humbled, and I think it's time to, emotionally prepare yourself.
I did.
Chan-
The camera,
Chance!
you and me,
I blame
mano a
you!
mano. Snob versus snob, movie knowledge versus
I'm
movie
confused
knowledge.
now, so I'm
We
just gonna.
I'm just gonna-
are about to play a game.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is late at night. We are tired.
This is-
Excited. Woo!
I am excited for this match.
Well, you see that, Ken. I mean, the term film snob gets bandied about. These two worthy of the title, if it's considered a term of endearment, which it looks like Lon and William, the jury's still out on how they feel about that.
Absolutely. You know, I used to work with Lon Harris, and one day I mentioned something about, you know, not considering Star Wars to be science fiction / fantasy, and I got a
corruption versus world's finest. That's going to be fun.
About Star Wars
it's going to be corruption.
Yeah, but it's going to be a cakewalk for corruption, let's be fair.
I'm excited to see, though, these two collide today.
They are going to collide today, then, like you said.
Then again, though, I said
Roca
the same thing about Trek versus
Draco,
World's Finest, and
the honor of being in
how did that go?
I read that wrong. It is a triple threat match. Ethan also in the
so you know what? Maybe Winston and Zipper.
Hey, if you love the movie Trivia Schmoedown, you want to check us out in our podcast forum, just go to Himalaya.fm. That's Himalaya.fm. Ken, a lot of notable accomplishments here between these two gentlemen. Give us some of the highlights real quick.
Right. Well, absolutely. With the Professor Lon Harris, he's got 3 big wins, does have 2 losses, but he is a 2018 Ultimate Schmoedown team finalist. He and his brother, Jonathan Harris, kind of sliding in here.
Mark Bernardin, please come back. We miss you.
With the injury of
where's he?
Trivia Schmoedown legend Josh Tapia, JTE, falling off
survived
of a scooter
injury.
face first into a mail truck. They needed to form a new team, and then they kind of took the league by storm. A lot of people look at them as possible future team champions.
Amazing.
But like I said, William the Beast Bibbiani, not only is he one of the minds, in fact, the mind who leads the team behind the wonderful website
former score record holder.
William's got an accomplished career as a movie journalist, but also a champion. As I said, he is a
It's so crazy that he's so highly regarded, and yet he has a record of 5-5.
Well, look at those 5 losses.
Ken, you ready?
I know, but still.
One more chance of this, or else I never get to say it
Irwin.
again. It's time for the movie Trivia Schmoedown.
No, not Irwin.
Oh, no,
Roca.
McQueen.
Introducing our competitors here
Yeah,
today
McWeeny,
is the golden
Roca,
of Ken Knapsack.
and JTE.
Oh, yeah, JT.
Introducing first.
Oh boy, Chris is gonna rap.
Harris Brothers, with a record of 3 wins and 2 defeats. He is the 2018 Ultimate Schmoedown Team Finalist and the number 10 ranked singles contender. Here is the Professor Lon Harris.
There comes the professor.
Very significant.
Glasses off. Not sure if that's a tipping of the cap.
Yes.
Got his customary pipes. Ken, a little bit of an intimidation factor if you are a student in the crowd.
Absolutely. He used to write movie fight speed round questions with that pipe in his mouth.
It's not just a prop. That's good to know.
And his opponent.
I still love this score.
What's the entrance going to be? What's the entrance going to be?
Of 5 wins and 5
Come on, Braveheart. Do something,
He is
Braveheart.
the former movie Trivia Schmoedown.
That's random. I don't know why. Okay, sure.
And our number 7 ranked contender, William the Beast Bibbiani.
It's a regular entrance? Oh no. There we go.
Maybe smell something, wondering where he left his keys. There seems to be some sort of confusion.
This is not a test. This is your Schmoedown broadcast system announcing the commencement
The first annual purge.
Commencing at the siren, all crime in the Schmoedown studio, including theft,
Yes!
murder,
Spitting by the pecs.
Yes!
illegal for 16 continuous seconds. Let's get ready to Schmoedown.
Woohoo! Yes!
Attention all purgers. The annual purge has concluded. Thank you for making the Schmoedown a better place. Growl, growl.
Of the year!
Okay,
Right here!
everything is back to normal.
Yes!
Sorry about that.
Motherfucker! Motherfucker! You just keep topping yourself.
All right.
Never felt any difference.
Wow.
after a brief
I'll
lapse in
drink
time.
to that. I'll drink
would
my
like
orange
give
juice to that.
A special shout out to William the Beast Bibbiani
lemonade.
because as you see, the movie Trivia
And this
Schmoedown,
is
we
not
have our new
spicy.
website this season, triviast.com. How about a
Oh, I
hand for
kinda
the
wish it
Beast
was.
helping us curate that. does a great job. And just to make
Oh,
everything
he's
fair,
standing
Ken,
again.
how about a hand for Lon, who gave me a ride in his Toyota Prius to the studio here today.
Prius, he drives a Prius,
There
Jesus
we go. Make
Christ.
sure you check out
That's a
Trivia
teacher's salary.
He is that kind of person.
As Lon once again
driving a damn lunchbox.
Over my website
Come on,
plug.
man.
You can get live show tickets.
Seriously,
and
I
can just touch that thing and it'll totally into a ditch.
I'm not against hybrid cars. It's just, have you seen how a Prius looks?
Here's how the rules
Listen,
are going
better
to
a
work.
Prius
You're gonna
than
hear
a
8
bird
questions
scooter.
from 8 different corners of the movie.
Yes,
to
Trivia
be
fair,
Showdown
JT,
Galaxy. Each
yes.
question's worth 1 point.
But
There's no penalty
let's
for
be
missing
real
a
here.
question. There's
Chevy
no
Volt,
stealing in round number 1.
way better.
Each competitor does have 3 usages of the JTE rule. You're not sure you heard a question correctly, you need to buy yourself some time. Use the JTE rule. You also each have 1 challenge throughout the duration of the match. In every round, we'll ask a question. As soon as you all hear the question, if it's your turn or if it's in round number 1, please write down your best attempt at the answer on the whiteboard. You got about 15 seconds to do so. Once we address you by name, please show what you wrote to us and your camera. At the same time, you verbalize your answer into the microphone. Ken, I've talked a lot. You have anything to add before we commence the match?
You are the best at explaining the rules.
Never had a teleprompter? Don't need one. William the Beast Bibbiani, you are the favorite. Are you ready to go?
I would like to preface my affirmation with a witty insult at the expense of my fellow competitor here.
The court will allow.
Okay. We'll add it in post. Thank you.
Is your work on the website objective and free of bias?
Ask John Roca.
Knew it was coming. I knew it. I knew it.
Indeed, quite.
I knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew he was going to say it.
Oh,
I think I
jeez.
did that right today, Ken.
I think you did.
Feeling pretty good about it. All right, as I said, you have 8 questions in round number 1. The first one will be asked by the golden throat of Ken,
was great.
Nappy Knapsack.
That was great.
That was my nickname in 2nd
Was it
through
really?
12th grade.
I apologize.
Question number 1 comes in the category of dramas. Who stars as the iconic Atticus Finch in 1962's To Kill a Mockingbird? 1962, the year after the Yankees had the record-setting 1961 team.
I have no idea.
I believe the Reds in the World Series. I could be mistaken.
I can guess.
61 directed by?
Billy
I'm
Crystal got
taking
the
a guess
call
as
here.
well.
4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down, William.
Gregory
Bibbiani.
Peck.
Gregory Peck.
It is, in fact,
Did
Gregory
I had
not-
a
Peck.
It
Hitchcock.
is the esteemed
That's the
Dr.
director.
That's a
It is
director,
Gregory
there you
Peck,
go.
not the current actor.
Does he
playing him
not
on
make
Broadway. That
appearances
would be
in his
Jeff
own
Daniels.
films?
This is
We
true,
move
but he
on
never
to
stars,
our
and plus
thriller.
he didn't direct.
And
Kill
your
a
He didn't
Mockingbird.
question
direct
therein. Who
Mockingbird.
played the ballerina Elizabeth Beth McIntyre / the Dying Swan in Black Swan? Haven't had
It's not
a
who
Black
you
Swan
think.
question in a while.
No.
That movie came
Oh,
on the scene,
in that case,
caused
it's-
a buzz.
It did
It's
cause
one or
a
the
buzz.
other.
You were right.
I have a feeling I'm thinking of the other, but I'm gonna
4, 3,
I'm gonna
2,
go
and
for it
1.
anyway.
You like
Winona
Tunis?
Ryder.
Miss Natalie Portman?
No.
That is incorrect.
Oh, I also had
Oh.
a
Looking for Winona
Beautiful.
Ryder.
Oh, really?
Winona Ryder.
She was in it?
maybe, but then I
was.
thought
Well,
maybe
I
well
do
done,
not.
Chris.
On
Well
Winona
done.
Ryder impression.
Well done.
All right.
We love you in Stranger
At least I
Things.
didn't have
All right,
Natalie Portman.
Number three comes
Fair.
in the category of animated. In Toy Story 2, what is the name of the old prospector that we were introduced to?
That is
I
a
got
deep
this one.
Toy Story cut.
Yeah, me
You
too.
know, one of my life dreams is to
Best
be an
Toy Story
old
movie.
prospector in Montana in 2023.
I thought you were going to say your dream is to be an
Second
actual
best
toy.
one.
5, 4,
They're all
Saying.
great.
3,
They are all
2.
great. Let's be fair.
1. Pens down.
Stinky Pete.
Mr. Bibbiani.
Oh
I have
shit!
Prospector.
It is
said
incorrect.
prospector.
Accurate though it may be with his occupation line.
I have Prospector Pete.
Looking for Stinky
No.
Pete.
Almost there.
Got
Stinky
it.
We were
Pete
both close. We both
is
had
his-
P words.
Yeah.
Yay! High five, Nico.
As they say
Nice
in A
one.
Christmas Carol. Your next question, and this will bring us to halftime. Round number 1 comes
Damn
from
it,
the world
Kelsey
of
Grammer,
action
and your
slash
beautiful
adventure.
voice.
Action and adventure. The question is, who stars as the resourceful mercenary Royce in the 2010 film
Yeah.
Predators? I
at that.
love this movie.
This movie is-
on a Predators
Has a
question.
good first half, and then the second half is just bad.
The I should be opening for you. 5,
I don't think that's
3,
his character's
2,
name.
1.
Brody.
I had Adrian Brody.
You
Oh,
are
shit.
correct, sir.
I also had Adrian Brody.
Shit.
And
I
you
had
even
Lawrence
spelled it
Fishburne.
right. Thank you for that. It is with an E, not an A, Lon, just future reference.
Yay, me.
You are, in fact,
Gonna have to grace you down a bit, Professor.
All right. It counts.
I'm spelling it correctly. Adrian Brody is spelling it incorrectly.
Okay,
That seems like
Yeah,
a good answer.
I've
That seems
seen
like
this
a-
movie in the
That's a
last
fair point
6
to make.
months
We move on to
somewhere.
our fifth question.
Before
Number one.
Predator
Ken,
came out.
Here we
The
go.
new one,
Fifth question.
which
Fifth
sucks,
question
by the
comes in
way.
the category of fantasy slash
I know,
sci-fi.
no.
Fantasy slash sci-fi. Who plays the Christian philosopher Palmer Joss in the 1997 film Contact?
All right, I got an honest question to ask you.
Yeah, an honest question.
Your first name is Palmer.
Yeah.
Do you keep it?
I'm just gonna take a
Yeah,
wild
absolutely,
guess
champ.
that
I'm
it's
gonna
probably
make the
very,
jam.
very
Throw a
wrong.
couple good
I have a
ones.
guess,
It's
yeah.
two World Series.
Nope.
Making lemonade with lemons. 5,
It's
4,
Zemeckis film.
3,
I will
2,
not bother.
1. Hands down. We're gonna
Jude
go to
Law.
William
That would be
Bibbiani.
the always delightful Matthew McConaughey.
He certainly is
Nope,
delightful.
that's not what I had.
Pre-reconnaissance Matthew McConaughey.
That's true. Pre-McConaughey,
at
pre-Carl
three. Tied
Jr.
up at three.
spokesperson. Tied up at 3, Ken, like you said. Your next
Chris,
category
I
is
can
six.
notice that you're tired
Is in
today.
the world of directors.
bit.
Directors, or as we call
Little
them in
bit.
these parts, RB3s. These are RB3s.
Give it up for RB3, everybody.
Christian
Yeah.
Bale directed The Runner. Your next question. In the world of directors, who directed the 1996 film Ransom? Fun fact, this movie came out before RB3.
What the hell is this movie?
A lot of,
Mel Gibson.
a lot of mid-90s questions. I was a rock DJ.
Yeah, but who directed it?
It's the Gin Blossoms on 95.5.
I can guess the
Oh,
director.
see, call it,
One,
call
hands
it,
down, go on.
Candida, stupid
It was Ron
DJing.
Howard.
It
That's
was, in
things.
fact,
Oh,
Mr.
Ron
Ron
Howard.
It's little Ronnie Howard.
That's correct indeed.
He is
I
from
can't
the
see
Andy
Bibbs'
Griffith Show.
writing
And
on his
it
board.
is
So
tied up at
that
4.
was
Two
Ron
questions
Howard when he
remain.
was
Number
good,
7 is going
right?
to be in the category of what?
Comedies. These films deduce the yuck yucks. Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston starred in this 2006 romantic comedy about the end of a relationship.
Finally.
All right, so you
Question
said
I can answer.
What is it?
Were you DJing or were you breaking?
Nico,
What were
did
you
your
doing?
hack slacks finally kick in?
Just recovering from a
I am
Shut
not.
up.
real bad case of
Ah,
For the next
crap.
one, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The
I can
breakup.
give you my top 5 reasons not wanting to hear the end of
I was
that.
gonna say forgetting Sarah
Mr.
Marshall.
Bibbiani.
The
No, that's
breakup.
2009.
I also had the breakup.
You are
And that's-
the winners of a
and that's
point,
not
5
Vince
to
Vaughn,
5.
nor is
And
it
our
Jennifer
last
Lopez.
category in round
But that's
number
okay.
1 comes from the world of coming of age. What Ken Knapsack did in the year 2006. Your question
You
is,
see, he's actually not that old. Yeah.
what 2005 coming of age film stars Amber Tamblyn, America Ferrera,
No.
and Blake Lively?
Wow, this is a bad round for me.
The crowd,
Then again-
I hear some snickers in the crowd.
These
Yeah.
questions are just tough.
And I'm not talking about the candy bar, Ken.
Oh, then I'm out.
5, 4,
Ah.
3, 2,
a long
1.
title.
Hands down to
Sisterhood of the
I
Traveling
believe
Pants.
it's the Sisterhood of Traveling
Damn
Pants.
The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants is correct,
Yes.
Mr.
The
Bibbiani.
Sisterhood of the Traveling Band.
Oh, you still got 4.
Up at 6, Ken. That's exactly what we expected. A solid
Oh, Lord.
competitors. Neither one getting a
We are very
perfect round, so there
tired.
is no bonus question, but
In my
that does,
defense, it's 6:13
portend for
a.m. in the
a
morning for
dicey
me.
round 3. We're probably going down to the wire here.
Yeah, I
In my
would
defense, I
think
just got
that's
done
gonna
with
be
a
the case,
2-hour
but
podcast,
round 2 can
and
make
this
or
is
break
true.
us.
2 hours of
As we know that
recording
we got the
vocals,
wheel, something
so
we
I'm-
know can change
spent.
the
And
the
waiting.
outcome
I
of
just
the
don't
match
watch.
with a
I just
spin.
don't watch
That's what I'm
enough
trying to say.
movies.
That
This is
spin,
true.
This is true.
Powerful. Frankie
We're
numbers will
working
tell
on
you.
that, though.
Round to round it goes. What happens?
We're trying to
I'll
make
tell
something
Like the
happen.
roulette wheel at
I don't know what
Excalibur.
yet, but something.
The wheel round. We are into round number 2. It's the wheel of fate, doom, and justice. I will make a note that this wheel has a sponsored wedge from one of our beloved patrons, and that would be the wedge of Jim Henson. Jim Henson movies.
Okay.
Crowd
Oh, I
loves
thought
great
Jim Henson actually sponsored the
Either
wheel.
competitor spins
For
to
a
Jim
second.
Henson and elects to select 4 questions from Jim
We
Henson.
are
We'll
tired.
say the name
That-
of
that-
the
that
patron for
would have been
information on how
something,
you can
Nico.
get your name said during a match. Check out the Schmo.
Yeah, he's been,
Patreon.
deceased
Better yet,
for
the movie Trivia Schmoedown.
almost-
That's the right one.
Don't send
The
people
wheel.
to your own Patreon.
Each category on that wheel contains 4
I know, that's why I
questions
instantly
therein.
realized
Each
I was
question's worth
wrong,
2
because
points.
he's
It's
been
open for
dead
missing a
for
question. However,
nearly 3
stealing is
decades.
available. in round number 2. If you get asked
So,
a question, you're not sure the answer, ask us for multiple choice.
guys, yell at
I'll give
us in
you
the
4
comments
options,
how
one of which
tired we are.
promise is correct.
Yeah, please
The other
do.
3 are not. If you
Please
get it
do.
right, you get 1 point for that. William Bibbiani, you are tied with Lon, or as you would say, Lonathan Harris. However, you're the favorite, so you had the spin. Would you like to go ahead and use it or defer to the professor?
I will spin first.
Okay,
By the way, they
Beast
both got
cordial here
both
today
got
so
6.
far.
That's pretty
And
good
here comes
with
Mr.
those questions.
Bibbiani, the Beast. We know the Beast is in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't come out on the wheel.
I think it's sometimes good to spin
Please
and
come
put the
out on the
pressure
wheel.
on your opponent. Spin
Just
gingerly.
Did anyone touch the pegs during his pressure?
I did
It's
not
getting to the
notice
point where
that.
it's don't spin from the
Damn.
wheel, spin with your mind. But it's a good spin.
This could be Meryl Streep.
John Carpenter. Yeah, but he'll take that
I was
one.
gonna say, yeah, he'll take Carpenter.
He
Yeah,
is going
yeah.
to take it, and you got to think William Bibbiani, a big
He
horror
just likes
fan.
Streep
He
because it's
probably
fun to
knows a fair
say.
amount about John Carpenter. Ken Knapsack
He just
will be
loves
administering your
screaming it.
questions, the first of 4.
Although if
at
it was
your
Jeff Snyder, he
All
would be
right,
happy
here we
with
go.
Meryl Streep.
Category again, John Carpenter. John Carpenter. What actor was nominated for an Oscar for the role in Starman?
Jeff Bridges.
Bridges.
That is correct for 2 points.
Quick 2 for the Beast.
Thank you. Come on.
Fun little sci-fi thing.
We're having a match here.
A much better
in
version
John
of E.T.
Carpenter's They Live, what kind of establishment was across from the Shantytown soup kitchen that was the target of a police raid?
Was it a church?
It's correct for 2 more
Yep.
points.
He has seen John Carpenter's work before, Ken.
Yeah.
I have only seen
What actor
2.
portrays the Duke in Escape from
Oh, crap.
Isaac Hayes.
That's correct for 2
Yep.
more points.
Oh, yeah, it's the guy who voices Chef. I should have known
All right,
this. Jesus.
Final question this round for you.
Isn't
Mr.
he
Beast.
Sir Isaac
What is
Hayes?
the name of the cursed coastal town
Oh,
in
I thought he was knighted for
Nepal?
some
I knew
reason.
this was going to come up. A multiple choice.
A. Thomas Bay. B. Antonio Bay. C. Galveston Bay. D. Grizzly Bay.
Antonio Bay?
That's correct for a point.
Wow. Very good round.
Antonio Bay sounds
Down
like a
round of
sexy
8.
male model.
Option
That's
E would have
where
been
the
down
Beast
by the
plays
bay.
it. William Bibbiani, just needing multiple choice. A perfect, more or less, round number 2, Ken. That is a tall
While
order
you're
for
singing
Lon Harris
On
to match.
Moonlight
He
Bay.
has to do it right now.
Absolutely is. He's
And
walking
then,
up to the wheel, gives it a
then
good
option F would be Michael Bay.
It's a great
Oh!
You know what? Just breathe on it, Ken. I have it on good.
Make
We are
me
waiting on
shiver.
Joshua Hercules Makuga to make his glorious return to Home Depot.
Oh, yeah?
To
What Patreon
Oh.
tier is that?
Oh,
could be a
Oh.
choice. He
90.
Sneaks by with 90s.
He's keeping 90s.
He's going 90s. You gotta wonder
Yeah,
if
considering
the
how close he was
opponent's
to opponent's
near
choice,
miss
yeah, I'd
spooked him a
keep
little
90s
bit.
as well.
I'd keep
Gotta get
90s.
in with a category I like.
Sometimes, like in love, you have to take what's given to you.
How's that working out for you, Ken?
All right, Lon,
I'd
your
say pretty
first of
damn
4
well.
Questions in the
This
wild,
is true.
wonderful Ken Knapsack DJ'd world of the 90s.
Certainly.
What
Second one of the
actor
night.
Co-stars with Virginia Madsen as the drifter Harry Maddox in the 1990 neo-noir The Hot Spot.
What? He has no clue.
I'm gonna go to.
Go multiple choice.
Is it A. Matt Damon, B. Don Johnson, C. Billy Bob Thornton, or D. Danny Houston?
Danny Houston?
Say Billy Bob
Huston?
Thornton.
That is incorrect for a big steal here.
Could you repeat the answers again?
Yes, it is A. Matt Damon, B. Don Johnson, C. Billy Bob Thornton, D. Danny Houston.
We're going to go with Don Johnson.
It's correct
It
for a
was
point.
Don Johnson.
Okay.
Wow.
14
Ouch.
to 6. A good steal.
Ouch.
there.
And
Beast.
here
Back to
Bibbs
try to
will
recover.
run away with
Lon,
the
your Next
match.
question in the world of the 90s. Dan Aykroyd and Daniel Stern play rabid NBA fans who kidnap a player played by Damon Wayans in what 90s comedy?
It's Celtic Pride.
It's still making the Beast laugh. all
I
these
need
years
to see
later.
this movie now. That sounds incredible.
That sounds pretty fun. I'm not going to
All right,
lie.
your next question. In the 90s, your penultimate one in this round, Lon, for 2 points. In the movie Rudy, who played D-Bob, Rudy's best friend, once he got into Notre Dame?
Vince Vaughn.
That is incorrect for another big steal here.
John Favreau.
It was.
Oh, boy.
Steal. Oh, no.
And all of a sudden here, Ken.
A lot of pressure on the
Yeah, a
professional.
lot of
if
pressure on this
another
question.
Steal from William Bibbiani.
Can I get a
that
question?
could
Who starred
end
in a John Carpenter movie, maybe?
the Harris dreams of going to round 3? But you do have one more question, Lon. That question is asked to you and you alone first. Your last one in round number 2. In the world of the 90s, Whoopi Goldberg plays a housekeeper who lights up the life of a grieving widower and his daughter in this 1994 film.
Jumpin' Jack Flash?
Nope. Doesn't have it.
Go to 5, 4, 3.
Can you repeat the question?
Certainly. So usage of the JT rule. Whoopi Goldberg plays a housekeeper who lights up the life of a grieving widower and his daughter in this 1994 film.
Notice Bibbs was whispering, "You need the points. You need the points."
Yeah.
B, Karina. C, Clara's Heart. Or D, The Long Walk Home.
Karina.
Give him a point.
Okay.
He's still scrapping with Bibbiani.
Nice.
So Bibbiani, the Beast, has a 16-9 lead over Lon
Yeah.
Harris. Ken going into
But let's not
round three.
forget,
Lon
round
Harris,
3 is
he's been
usually
in this
Bibbs'
position before.
kryptonite.
He's
So
shown a lot of
this
back
match
in
is
round three
done.
historically.
Sadly.
How do you see this one playing out?
Look, this is a big
I mean, I
deficit.
agree,
Sometimes you just look
but
across the huddle at Frank Reich and say,
this is
"Let's
where things
do
usually
this.
change
Let's
for
have a
Bibbs.
miraculous comeback."
That was
2 years ago.
2017 Bibbs.
Sometimes you have to
We have a new Bibbs now.
look at the charging
We have a Bibbs who
fonts
became
and say, "I am King
singles
Fayed
champ,
and reform
who
the
is
line."
about to be
I appreciate
a potential team champ.
I was waiting for a Houston Oilers reference that never came, so we're going back to sports. And we're going back to round number 3. So the Beast currently enjoys a 7-point lead. What we're going to do in round number 3 is you're going to give us each a series of numbers. 3 numbers that range from 1 to 20. Those each correspond to a different category of movie trivia. Schmoedown know-how up here at the answer desk. The first question you hear to yourself is worth 2 points. The next one, 3. The last one, should we make it that far, is worth 5 points. Mr. Bibbiani, your numbers at your ready.
7, 3, and 19.
7, 3,
3,
and
7,
19, and
19.
Mr.
Come
Harris,
on,
besides
where's the
those numbers,
17?
From 1 to 20, what do you like?
I'll take 5, 9, and 14.
5, 9, and 14, Ken.
I find your lack of
All right, I
17
will be administering
disturbing.
the questions to Lon. Ken will be asking the Beast.
I'm
Lon,
sorry,
you got
Lord
some work
Multiplication.
ahead of you.
Understood?
And we start with number 5, which you selected for your 2-point question. That is in the world of new releases. These are new releases, came out in the last 12 to 18 months. And your question is, who directed the 2018
Damien
film
Chazelle.
First Man?
It was Damien Chazelle.
Well
2
done.
points.
2 points.
And he's within a 5.
Arguably his worst movie.
Getting there. Lon, we stick with you for your 3-point question from category number what, Ken?
9.
Thank
Number
you.
9.
9?
9.
9?
9? 9?
Time.
8.
The Night Watchman.
9!
All right, Lon, you may be saying woohoo when you hear whose category number 9 is. That would be Will Smith.
I'm not saying woohoo. I've never once said woohoo.
Oh, okay.
What the fuck is
Here's your
happening?
question.
That was the first one.
In the film Independence Day, what represents Captain Hiller's victory dance for a successful mission?
Lighting a cigar?
I believe they
cigar.
smoke a cigar.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is correct. For 3 points. So now all of a sudden, Lon Harris finds himself in a situation, Ken, if he gets this one right,
I will have a
lot
Cuban
of pressure
before I
suddenly
die,
gets
I swear
heaped
to
on the
God.
shoulders of the Beast.
Absolutely.
Lon Harris, for 5 points, you selected category
And
one,
remember,
Ken.
kids, smoking's bad. Okay.
This is true.
I'm kidding. That's an inside joke.
But to
Which
be
is
fair,
why I've never smoked.
Just looking
to
for
be
the
fair,
number
you don't
so
inhale
I could build
cigars.
tension.
Oh, 14.
There we go.
I've also never smoked.
RB3, can we reset
Please say
now?
that way.
Same
RB3
here.
That's okay.
Too
We're good.
late, we're going in.
RB3 cams.
Checking my fantasy baseball rankings.
In buyout.
All right, Lon.
Oh.
Question.
Priorities, Ken.
So we'll use
Priorities.
This for 5 points to stay alive. In the 2016 film Hidden Figures,
To get to the
why does
bathroom.
Catherine have to run a half-mile across the NASA campus every day?
Is it because of it's the location of her parking spot?
No.
The final score of 16 to 14. Williams.
TKO. Hold it.
To have to use the bathroom, Lon. She have to use the bathroom. There were segregated bathrooms back in the day at NASA. Thankfully, that's no longer the case. What is the case here today, Ken?
Can we
is
just
it
talk about how
William
great that
Bibbiani,
movie is
an
for a moment?
impressive victory over
Yes!
Lon Harris spurred
It
on
really
a
is.
spirited round 2 that
I
featured
still
multiple
need to
steals.
see it.
Absolutely.
Yes, you do.
Bibbiani did not face his.
It's on my list.
That was like one of my- that was like one of the first reviews I ever did.
But 16-14, it might
How
be
about that?
considered low scoring, but this is a punch-for-punch fight that between 2 solid contenders. But Lon Harris trying to establish himself in the singles rankings ran up into against the former champion who knows how to put on pressure. I think that's what the Beast did in that second round by spinning that wheel and saying, I'm taking control of the game.
That's right. So to reset the slate, William Bibbiani moves on to the triple threat match. He will be facing Ethan Irwin and either Mark Andreyka or John Roque as he prepares for that and Lon licks his wounds.
Either way, we're getting a rematch.
He's going to have an interview with both the winner and the loser. It's all yours, Jen.
What's up, Movie Trivia Schmoedown fans? Jen Sturger here with a defeated Lon
Ethan hasn't faced. Oh wait,
no, he's an automatic number one.
We teach
yeah, he is.
movies
I was
that
just
people
thinking.
have watched at Cal State Torrance, but we do not teach very often the hot rocks, hot spots, Celtic prides of the world. I've never even heard of some of these films.
I don't think some of the people in these films have heard of
I think these were Mr. Bibbiani's student films that they decided to ask me questions. Meanwhile, the questions to the other side are, who is John Carpenter? What is John Carpenter's career? What kind of media has John Carpenter worked on?
I'm really glad to see you're taking this really well.
Corinna. How many? I don't know how many Corinnas are in the title. Is it 8 Corinnas?
Pretty sure it's about 7.
It's 7 Corinnas.
7 Corinnas.
That's a ridiculous film to be asked about in a filmic competition, along with an esteemed academic expert in the field of the.
Jesus Christ.
It is because the questions are to one side of the room. The questions are like a person who shoots a film in a camera is known as a blank. And to the other side of the room, it is, when I first went to go see this film, what flavor ice cream did I have before? It's not a fair competition.
What?
I'm getting flashbacks right now to the first time I met Harloff.
Oh, my esteemed...
What's going on with the hair?
Yeah, how many times have you seen Scarface, Chris?
Twice.
Need to be enriched. Need to have the benefit of his wit and wisdom. He's also working on a poetry collection, which will be available from the University of Oxford Backroom Press anytime next year.
And probably on T Public, right?
Damn you, Lon! You're triggering me.
I don't know what this is. Is it for trigonometry experts to go on T Public?
Yeah, no. So what's next, man? I mean, are you gonna stay in singles? You know, tough it out.
Please.
Go on to the next, or
please do.
I will continue to perform at a very high level in the singles individuals division, provided I am, provided with questions that are about actual films that have been released theatrically and that are possible for the public to see. But I also am planning to return to the teams division with my brother as well when his schedule is freed up.
Well, I cannot wait to see the Harris brothers back in action. You two are always entertaining.
I appreciate that very much.
Sorry about the hotspot questions today, man.
Corinna.
Well, you called it, Bibbs. The Beast is back.
Oh, thank you very much.
Wait,
what are
you doing?
I'm texting my wife to tell her I won. Heart, and send. Okay.
Seriously,
thank you.
That was so impressive out there. And by the way, I'm not sure if you know this. That was the second time you've TKO'd Lon this season.
Oh,
do you just have his number?
I think I do. I think I'm just pretty good. I don't know. Like Lon, Lon's smart. We've seen Lon. We've seen Lon against Ethan Irwin. We've seen Lon take on some serious opponents and really do amazingly. I think, here's my theory. You know how I won Comeback of the Year last year? I think Lon saw that award, got a little jealous, so he's going to tank all throughout the year and then get that award. And that'll be great.
It's a great plan. Great theory. Absolutely great theory.
Own it.
Now, obviously, Bibbs, this puts you back in the title hunt now. You're going to be waiting to see who is in that 3 spot.
Bibbs never change.
Do you have a preference?
Look, either way, I'm having a great 3-way, and that's going to be really exciting. I'm looking forward to having that 3-way with Ethan Irwin.
There was an innuendo in there.
Having that 3-way with Mark Andreyka comes out on top.
Look at Jen's eyes.
That's what she said.
It was starting to get weird.
How are you? I don't think we've ever had a scene together, buddy.
I don't think we have either. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you. I just had a really good match. Thank you.
Everyone turn your volume down.
Let's talk real quiet.
First and foremost,
turn it up,
congratulations on your
baby.
win.
Thank you, Jay.
You've earned it.
That means a lot to me. From you, sir. You're one of the best managers in the biz, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. I wish the fans on Patreon who voted last year would have said that.
Right.
But nonetheless, congratulations on your way to being beaten again by Ethan Irwin potentially.
When did he beat me?
I don't know,
He
but he
didn't.
will beat you now.
Oh, I see. I see
so
what you're saying.
whoever is the winner of that.
Okay, I see where this is going.
So nonetheless, I'm here just to say congratulations, and hopefully you step your game up more.
Well, yeah.
Because you are, even though you are a former champion.
Thank you.
You are going against a former champion as well.
Indeed.
And potentially with John Roca, or someone who could easily be a champion in Mark Andreyko.
That's true.
So nonetheless, I wish you the best. Growl, growl, purr, purr, whatever you say.
Growl, growl, actually. Thank you. All right, first strike. Hey, high five.
This is awkward.
Okay, this is awesome.
I just was I texted Ethan and told him you won.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, really? And we're having a discussion on that. So we'll send you in the three-way, not the three-way you think.
Not the three-way you think.
That's what she
This is not
said.
that type of party.
Okay. Wait, do you want to come in and yell at me some more? Wait, yell. This is great. Okay. Ethan bad. Ethan gonna lose. And maybe Roca or Mark. Go, go. Come on, you can do it. You're just so good at this.
You're just so angry and upset. Why is...
I'm not angry. I just want to do a scene with you. You're so good when you yell.
I don't have... Look, that's a whole new leaf, whole new person. I don't need to yell. It's unnecessary. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I just want to be real calm and collective and just thank you for all your contributions.
That really takes the edge
And
off.
there's an L you're going to have to hold pretty soon. All right, I'm out.
It. Hugs. Get you later.
He's not a hugger.
Get you later on hugs.
Back to you guys.
All right, Ken.
He's
well,
still
you see there,
Bibbiani in
very
like 4
excited,
months.
feeling like he's back. He's got his singles mojo working. He's climbing back up the ladder. He has his sights set on the belt, but that triple threat match is in the way.
Yeah, and you can see the disappointment on Lon Harris's face. It's going to be a tough week at the Valley College Community College classes on film history when Professor Harris has to hand out the syllabus for the next semester. He's not going to do it with a lot of joy. I think though he can recover. I know Lon's got the skills and the brain power for it.
Certainly, and Lon, there's a lot to be said about what he's going to be doing in the team division this year as the Harris brothers. And when you look at that wheel, Ken, it all comes down to that he barely got it over opponent's choice. You wonder if he took 90s just to save himself from having to. For the possibility of spinning opponent's choice.
It's the risk you take. You get a category that you think you're familiar with, and I'll be honest, 1990s that was some B-sides, and he thought he was going to get maybe some singles released on the albums. You know, that's what you do. You got to live by the wheel, die by the wheel.
Well, to paraphrase Lon's three-point question in round number 3. He will not be enjoying his victory dance. Mr. Bibbiani currently is smoking a victory cigar. And we say thank you for tuning in to this edition of the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. Reminder, you can have us in podcast form any old time you want. Himalaya.fm is the place to pick it up, and check out TriviaSD.com. That's where you get tickets for the live events, including we have March 23rd. That's going to be the free-for-all downtown Los Angeles at the Globe Theater, and April 13th in Chicago. It's going to be a movie Trivia Schmoedown Star Wars match for the ages. Get your tickets at TriviaSD.com or MarkEllisLive.com. Hey, we're going to be in Seattle soon. More on that at a later date. In the meantime, Ken Knapsack, thank you for joining us. Where can all the kids find you?
You can follow me at Ken Knapsack across all social media platforms and my podcast, Casually Talk, which is co-hosted by Mr. Lon Harris.
For Ken, I am merely Mark Baby Carrots Ellis at Mark Ellis Live. Until next time, hashtag positive energy.
There are a couple of minutes left. Hello, McWeenie.
Hello.
Sam? Hey! Hey, man.
Hey, buddy.
I was worried about you. I didn't see you at the award show. Yeah, I wasn't up for it this year. Oh, no, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I don't know. I've had a weird year deciding if I was going to compete again. And, I mean, I don't know if you've heard about how it's kind of arranged now.
You know, I did, and I gotta be honest. I mean, I'm working on some single stuff here, but I don't really think that Guy and Burnett have your best interest at heart. Certainly not like I did.
Well, they're a wrecking crew, certainly, and they're crazy, certainly. But I don't know. I want a belt.
This guy gets it.
You know, I kind of feel like I had one, and then I didn't really have any choice in not having one, which. It's the way it works.
I mean, we did talk about it. You're saying I strong-armed you?
I wouldn't say strong-armed. I would just say that I didn't feel ready. But I can't stop you from leaving. So I'm in a position now where I got to do what I think is going to get me back in there. And these guys may be nuts, but
Maybe.
Evil's the way to go this year. I'll lean in a little.
Drew, I don't know. I mean, you're such a nice guy. You know, we were baby
This is true.
faces
He
of
really
the
is just
year.
a nice
Remember
guy.
that?
Yeah.
People love you. You're a nice guy. Everybody loves happy, jolly Drew. And
I am I'm a hungry guy this year. Let's put it that way. And I think you should remember that in the story of Frankenstein, the doctor's the bad guy. I'm just Levine's monster this year. You made me this way. So I'm going to go play.
Oh.
You go commission.
Oh.
How about that?
all right,
I'll see you soon.
go get him, buddy.
Okay.
Oh, that guy went to the dark side fast.
Join me.
Damn.
Well then.
The plot
That's-
thickens.
It does indeed. I really wonder where that's going. But I think I've expressed that before, that I'm really loving Andrew Guy's storyline, and I want to see more. And I just, everything about that. So McWeeny, Guy, Burnett, I think it's great. I want to see more of it. So that's going to be glorious. Other than that, I just wish Lon had put up a little bit more of a fight, because this was just, ow.
That hurt.
This hurt. I mean, look, we all said it before. Like, yes, Bibbs is probably the favorite. He has more experience. He has a lot of knowledge. He knows how to play this game well. But Lon may have been, and then no. Just no.
This
So,
was not his game.
no. I'm sorry.
You know, he kind of snidered in this match, I'd say.
No. Snyder just completely stopped to care. Lon at least answered questions after round 2. So, Nico, your thoughts?
Okay. I'm gonna use a fight analogy that you two might not get, but
Probably not.
let's say last season, Lon was sort of in like a Francis Ngannou state of being. He was beating people left and right, and he was doing so maybe not pretty easily, but he was showing he's someone to watch out for. And then he had he had some bad luck at the end of the year, and that bad luck has not really gone away. It seems like he's hit a wall, and he's struggling to find his way back. So, and you know, we've seen it from a lot of great players too. Remember Dan Merle, his return after retirement did not go the way anyone planned it to. JTE
no. Anyone? Not anyone. I think the Action Army.
Zip it. JTE went a full year without a win, at least in singles. I mean, he recovered in teams, but he had the worst singles year anyone possibly could have had.
2016.
So
It's still glorious.
So no one's really doubting Lon has knowledge of film, because we've acknowledged that he does. But it feels like he's hit a wall, as most great fighters do, and he might need to change some things up if he wants to get back to his former glory of last year.
I actually think he needs to step out of his character. Like, as much as people love the professor character, I think it's hurting him that he's really too much into character and like being the snob. Like, oh, I don't like this film and I'm not gonna watch it because it's not a good film, and like, no one has even heard it. I think that's really hurting him. And I mean, he plays it up for a character and it's funny, but yeah, as Chris said before we started recording or watching the match, he said that Bibbs watches movies all the time of all kinds for the Schmoedown because he cares about the Schmoedown, and Lon just doesn't. Lon watches movies he likes. That's why he is good with with something that he knows, but the moment that he gets something regular as 90s, he doesn't know what to do with it. So it just shows that, yeah, Lon definitely has more gaps than other people, and those have been exploited very recently. And I think that he should Like, if he really wants to be that great player that almost beat Ethan Irwin last year, he needs to change a little bit. I'm not sure. I'm just
but we're focusing.
No.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, Case, you actually might be onto something. I think he does need to just tone it back. Obviously, don't get no. What he needs to do is he needs to go the Kevin Smets route. So remember when we had Kevin on our show, and he basically said that as soon as the match started, he wasn't the Smasher. He was just Kevin Smets. But as soon as right before the match started and when the match was over, that's when he was the Smasher.
Yeah.
So Lon needs to do exactly that. When the match isn't going, he's the professor, this artsy-fartsy, rooty-tooty, snob know-it-all critic who would rather watch 20 million Boonwell films, and say that everything else sucks afterwards. But when he's in the match, he needs to just be Lon Harris.
Yeah, and I do think that I'm not sure what he can do in his personal life, but I do think that he needs to just watch more movies that are maybe out of his comfort zone, because it does seem that he has a very specific movie taste, and he's probably seen a lot, but there are still the movies that he probably just watches because he likes them and therefore avoids stuff like animated or some other regular stuff that was asked about that he missed today. So
okay, we're focusing too much on Lon that we're not giving Bibbs enough credit for the actual win.
No, we will. Come on.
No, look, I'm just focusing on Lon because I think he can be a great competitor and I want him to be, but he wasn't today. That's why. Bibbs is great. This has always been great. I mean, do we really doubt that?
I mean,
no.
Plus, come on. Singles entrance of the year.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
God.
And can I just say, he's essentially become the Deadpool of the Schmoedown in that he's breaking the fourth wall. Like, Jay Washington shows up and he's like, "Yay, Jay Washington! I've been waiting for him to yell at me for so goddamn long." Like that's straight out of Deadpool, right there, saying, "Oh my God, Juggernaut, you are my favorite thing. This issue, that issue, that issue. Oh my God, Juggernaut is beating me up. How great is this?"
No. That's what he didn't think was great. No, that's true. Yeah, Bibbs will always be entertaining, and this is why the Schmoedown will always need Bibbs and critically acclaimed. Because I do think, like maybe Cyborg lost his singles match, but I do think that Bibbs and Whitney together and Bibbs on his own, that's just perfect entertainment, regardless of how they perform in the match. It's just that the pre-match talk, the post-match talk, the entrance, it's just glorious. And like before this match started, I already got my money's worth. Oh, we don't pay for it. I know, but still, if I had paid I paid money for the Patreon, but this is not a Patreon match. But if I had paid money, I would have got my money's worth before this match even started, just because of how entertaining that the first bit of the match was, the video. So yeah, I think okay, one more thing that we should do before we go into the plugs is Bibbs will go up against Irwin. That's one. That's confirmed. Mm-hmm. And then Draco or Roca. I really don't know who to call, but I'm going to go with Draco because I want Bibbs and Draco 3. And I want Draco Irwin 2. That's just what I want. Chris, who you got? I know.
Oh, this hurts. And Draco, you are just one of the best personalities in the Schmoedown, but I gotta go with my boy. Horseman! I got it.
Okay. Nico?
Okay. So listen, I love Draco as much as everybody else does. Having said that, not getting to go to New York, I'm pretty sure, has been eating at Roca for the better part of several months. And when he falls, he comes back stronger and better than before. So that loss to Ethan Irwin at the Spectacular, I guarantee you it motivated him to the point that he watches like 3 movies every day in between everything else he has to do throughout the week. He is preparing for this match. He's preparing for this mini tournament because he wants to face his tag team partner. He wants to face Dan Murrell for the title so he can get that 3rd match. And plus, I think the addition of Irwin already being confirmed for the triple threat match, and now Bibbiani, someone who Roca, despite having beaten him last year, still has issues with because of what goes on that website and some of the top 10 lists regarding top 10 and their places on it. Roca's on a mission. Roca's on a mission, and he wants to do everything and anything necessary to fulfill that mission. And so I'm going with Roca over Andreyko. And I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled one out over Irwin and Bibbiani as well. But that's a discussion for later on. And we'll get there when we get there.
You could say that Roca is on a mission from God. It's a Blues Brothers reference.
Really? You just put on the hat and the sunglasses just to make that one lame joke?
Yep.
Okay, we're going to go to outro plugs. Now, I am... Before I do that, I'm sorry that we're all very tired and not really on our A game, and I'm kind of mumbling, rumbling, and not really talking as I should, but whatever, who cares anyway? That's a reference. Please, like the video, comment on it, say why we are so stupid and tired. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because usually we're a little bit more sharp. And with that said, Nico, where can people find you online?
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, at Nico Suave Regoli. That's NicoSuaveRegoli. You can find me here on Dedicated to Art and all the places you two are going to say in just a few moments. You can find me over on Combat Wrestling Network is the name of the YouTube channel. Combat Wrestling Trivia is the Facebook group. At Combat Wrestling, the number 2, is the Twitter. There's no G in there because Twitter is weird, and I still need to fix that address.
Yes, you do.
The first middleweight division match in Combat Wrestling Trivia will be taking place tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, so stay tuned for that live on our YouTube channel. And finally, Multiplex Entertainment, that's the name of the Facebook group and the YouTube channel. The Twitter is at MultiplexYT. The Instagram is Multiplex Entertainment Network. The TeePublic is just Multiplex. Buy our awesome shirts.
All right, Chris, where can people find you?
Twitter, Instagram, Stardust, Letterboxd, at Skywalker Dome, and you guys can follow this very channel on Twitter and Instagram at D2A channel. Please like our Facebook page and stay tuned for our Star Wars Resistance recap review. 2 more episodes left of the season. And please check out our latest episode of the Who Cares Anime podcast, where I sat down with the creator of the sci-fi tabletop RPG Seize the Imperium. And despite a couple technical difficulties, it was a great episode. Please go check it out.
I assume so. I wasn't there because I was working. I literally got off work an hour and a half ago. So anyway, you can find me right here on Dedicated to Art, also with Resistance and Schmoedown reactions, and on the live show whenever I'm not working. You can find me on Letterboxd and Facebook, Kees Cornelissen, on Twitter at Dutch Movie Guy, and pretty much clustered to my computer on Google SketchUp in my free time, making designs for this guy's TV show. With that said, we will see you at our next video, whatever it may be. So until then, take care.
Yeah!